friends. It's My Mind in the Working because it's an 11 a.m. on MoncoRadio.com. This is your host, Heba. I'm currently trying to adjust my mic. So today I got a guest who hasn't been here in ages because she's a high school student. Hi, Bayanne. Can say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my God, you sounded sick for a second. You're not sick. I can tell you right now. You're definitely not sick.
Hello.
What's up with your voice? What happened?
I don't know. I keep my voice keeps coming and going for some reason.
You're going through puberty into part 2.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, your voice is not going to get deeper, so yeah, this mic is great. So, we came up with this idea last night. Mm-hmm. Do you want to, actually, before we mention that, so if you guys have been listening to my shows in the past, I've always been putting Take On Me at the beginning by a-ha. Well, I stopped that for a second, and I was like, you know what am I going to do as a replacement? Because I can't just start the show, okay? I'm not that simple. I'm extra. I need to do something. So I decided to, talk about things that are trending on Twitter at the moment as like a little segment, which is not going to be that long. So the first thing I see is Emma Watson refers to herself as self-partnered rather than single.
Okay.
Which is a mood.
That's okay.
I mean, you could just say single, because I don't know about self-partnered. That sounds a little weird to me, at least.
It's a little odd, but I think in the future, that's what everyone's going to be saying.
And then we also have, since today's the 5th of November, you remember the 5th of November, scary movie thing. I don't know what a scary movie is, but I know that phrase. Have you heard of that phrase before?
No.
Remember, the 5th of November.
I don't, but I will look it up for you.
Well, yeah, sure, thanks. And also, I can't pronounce his name. Keanu Reeves? Is that his? Yeah.
Keanu Reeves? What's
he
up
has a
with him?
girlfriend.
Oh my God, no way.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah. He has a girlfriend, so I think that will brighten people's day.
It's from V for Vendetta.
Okay, yeah, that probably okay. And also, last but not least, my favorite story of all time. A man was apparently stabbed over a fight involving the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Oh my God.
Guys,
I hope he's okay.
It's just a chicken sandwich.
All of our thoughts and prayers go to that man.
Yeah, it's just now they're trying to find the person who caused the whole fight and stabbed and apparently it's because one person like
I've
cut
never
in the
eaten
line.
at Popeyes.
Really?
No.
Neither have I. I mean, one time maybe when I was in Dubai, but that's it.
Really?
I don't remember.
I think I went to a Popeyes once when I was in Dubai, which is weird, but I don't think we ate there when my aunt lives there. So I think she took us there once, and then we didn't eat there. We just
sat
we
there.
were there, and then she was like, "Okay, let's go eat somewhere else." And I was like, "What? Okay."
No, okay, but apparently the person cut in line, which is why the fight happened. I'm like, number one, why would you be human enough to be able to do that? Why would you cut in line? That is the most horrible thing. I hate when people do that.
It's really rude.
It's so rude and so useless because you're gonna eventually get your turn.
Yeah.
It's just people are so impatient. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Okay, well, those are some trending things going on Twitter. Now, Bayanne, do you want to introduce what we're going to do today?
Of course.
Even though I'm the host, but
okay,
you're doing it.
Okay, so like Heba said, we came up with this idea last night, and
last night.
It kind of just spawned from things that we've been thinking about recently. So we're going to be talking about just theories in general. There's going to be a couple conspiracy theories.
Yes.
There's going to be a couple theories from some of our favorite cartoon shows from childhood. And then at the very end, hopefully we'll be able to talk about not just theories, but things that we don't really think about in our world that are kind of starting to come come to light. One thing, coming soon is cloning.
Oh, you see that? Okay, the thing is that let me point out two things. Number one, last semester I took a class called Child Psychology, which if you're a mother or a father or something, I highly suggest it for parents who are just starting to live the parent life, because you'll understand the way
upcoming
children
parents,
soon
to be parents,
exactly. And so the thing is that for one of my projects or papers I had to do, let me lower that for a bit. Okay, so one of the papers I had to do is to connect a real person or a fictional person, and kind of connect them to the terms that we learned throughout the semester. It was like a final paper kind of thing. So it's
it was kind of like a psychoanalysis of a person.
Yeah, so the thing is that it's supposed to test you on how much you learned throughout the semester. So I chose a fictional person, and I chose Timmy Turner. And that
from the
paper,
Fairly Odd Parents.
Believe it, a little fact, actually after I wrote my paper, Bayanne, I'm going to compliment you for a second. You're a really good peer reviewer.
Yeah.
Like, really
we
good.
sat down
She
and we
will
edited
go
that paper for like an entire
off.
night.
I wish I paid her for that. Actually, I might pay you. You know, like, give me your Venmo.
No, it's okay.
Give me PayPal or something. So, yeah, so she kind of did that for me. And she actually really liked it. I mean, I
Yeah, it
appreciate
was a great essay, and it's, I actually did suggest that you do Timmy Turner because I was like, I feel like there's a lot to talk about, you know,
I
especially
really wanted to do fictional. I was going to do Rugrats, but then I was like,
especially
there's not much
with
to
like,
talk about.
childhood shows. I feel like there's a lot of like subliminal messages in them.
Oh
and
my God. It's
every
so,
character
I
is
love
like really
those.
going through
Even
something.
Disney princesses, like how they're telling you the real truth of them.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So this is what we're going to be diving into. That's the first thing.
There's a lot
Also,
to talk about.
Second thing, it's weird. Okay, this is weird, but like the theories we're gonna mention that are like real life, some of them I'll mention that I came up with because weird enough, whenever I drive, like I'm on my way here or going back home, I think of these. It's weird. Now, every time I drive, I think of theories. It's so weird. So I'm gonna mention some, and some of them are actually like, I love the fact that I came up with it because it's like weird.
It's things that you don't really think about, but then when you start to think about it, it just becomes like this terrifying. Yeah.
I feel like you remember the show we did about the educational system? I think that was the whole thing was just
Yeah, it really was. We were
just keep in mind these are not real. What we're talking about, it's not confirmed. We're just thinking about them and making hypotheses. So yeah. So, do you want to start with cartoons?
Sure.
Cartoons. We've always grown up with them. We've always watched them. We love them, but do we really know the real truth behind them and the making of it? So we're gonna mention some of them, and if you don't know some of them, then I'm sorry. So yeah, and also by the way,
I don't know a lot of these shows or haven't seen a lot.
If you have any theories for any cartoons or real life things, go to my Facebook on montcoradio.com. Go to calendar and my mind in the working, and shout out to my friends saying hi to me from outside. Yes, so if you go to my Facebook, you can write down any of your theories, and I'm willing to read them and get triggered for life. So yeah. So what's the first one?
Okay, so the first one is just that Timmy Turner is he's actually depressed, and Cosmo and Wanda are the names that he's given to his antidepressants.
So by the way, everything we're gonna talk about might trigger you. So yeah, just a little warning.
So from the Fairly Odd Parents, because Timmy grows up in like such a, I don't want to say like bad environment, but like his parents are kind of like negligent, like they don't give him enough attention, especially since he's an only child. And multiple occasions throughout the show, they say that they wish they had a daughter and that they don't actually enjoy having a son. And then on top of that, he has this like abusive babysitter.
Yes, of course. That's also impacting on like his emotional
his emotional state of mind, I guess you could say. And so
I think there's other like also, I'm sorry to interrupt, but like
it's okay.
I just remember, I'm like now remembering what I wrote on my paper, and one of the things that I feel like little things that I learned in child psychology that could affect it is like, for example, there's I think one episode or two episodes where it shows that it shows like the past when Timmy Turner was like before he was born.
Yeah.
And so the parents thought they were gonna have a girl, so they bought a bunch of girl stuff, which is why like when Timmy Turner was born, they're like, oh, it's a boy, but they still dressed him up. Yeah. That's why he's wearing a pink hat and a pink shirt, because they dressed him up as a girl when he was younger, which is why I think that's why he's a little fragile also when he's like acting. He's a coward all the time. So I'm not saying girls are cowards, but like it's just like the way he was grown, I guess. And also one moment when he was looking at his past, what was the episode where he's going from one channel to another?
The Channel Chaser show?
Yeah, I think Channel Chaser. I think that was
I know that there was another episode that's like separate, but it does show you the same exact thing, like his parents wish they had a girl.
Yeah, and so also like we learned something in child psychology where babies don't, like sometimes when babies seeing, for example, an apple in front of them, if you put it behind your back, they're like, wait, where did it go? Like they don't think about the fact that, oh, you put it behind your back. They're like, where did it go? Like it actually disappeared. So I had that happen where like, Timmy Turner was in like, in the kitchen, and like the dad's like, I'm gonna go do this thing, and he leaves. Then Timmy Turner starts crying like, oh my God, where did dad go? He just disappeared out of nowhere. So he just starts crying. So that's also one thing I learned in child psychology that could involve in it. But yeah, the antidepressants, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, it's like as a coping mechanism to like deal with the fact that like his entire life, like nobody has given him attention, nobody cares enough about him. He has created these fairies that grant him his every wish, and obviously everything is like, in this theory, everything is fake. It's just things that he's made up in his mind to help him, like this make-believe world that he's created just to help him cope with the fact that like his parents don't really care about him.
Yeah,
and he has
they're
an
always leaving
babysitter.
him.
He has there's like a bully in school, and his teacher abuses him, and
Yeah, his
Yeah, it's
teacher
really
is just,
sad.
there's a whole theory about his teacher. He's so like people think that he's like he's not in the wronging. But he's like, yeah, like what what was the theory about Mr. Crocker?
I feel like because Mr. Crocker might actually like understand that Timmy is like creating all of this in his mind, so he might also be like adding to it, like, oh yeah, he's taking these antidepressants, like
He might be like he actually might.
he might be trying to help him.
Yeah, I
In
think
the
that was
sense
why.
like
yeah.
he's making it more real for him. That like, oh yeah, I believe in your fairies, and that's why Timmy's always like freaked out around him, because he's like, he knows that it's
he doesn't
not
want
real.
people to know about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's Timmy Turner. I feel like that's probably my favorite theory ever. Because
Yeah,
there's
I
so
think
much.
because
Like
there's
after
a lot
writing
to
the
talk
paper,
about.
after writing the paper, you don't understand how much I connected things, and it's like
It was like the smallest things that we watched in episodes are like they all mean something. And you could really see that there was like he was not mentally stable.
not at all. Oh my god.
Obviously, just a theory.
No, like I had to also like while writing the paper, I had to like of course watch some episodes, and I was mind blown when I was watching some episodes. I'm like, dude, I didn't notice that. Like that actually that works so well.
Oh yeah,
with this term.
there's like that one episode where he like runs away to the circus, and it's like if you think about it, like what does that mean? Like it means he just literally ran away.
Yeah.
And he was trying to like he only had his antidepressants because they were all fairies. So it was like him and like trying to like run away and like be away from his family. And he thought that his family like didn't care for him at all.
Yeah, that's
really sad.
It's really, really sad. Oh my god.
But
Okay.
then when his fairies disappeared at the end of the episode, it was kind of like he ran out of antidepressants, and so he needed to go back to his house. Really scary.
Ooh, yeah, it's super scary. Okay. What's the next one?
So the next one, I don't remember too much of this show, but I do remember that this was a theory that like everyone talked about, was that the Rugrats, Angelica, who
That was
like,
probably the first theory I ever heard.
yeah, she's like the older child in the show, actually imagines everything, and like the kids are not real or they are dead. And that's why she's like the older one.
Which is why I think the dad is always nervous or seems a little nervous and like shaky. And what else was there?
There was like one of them. I don't remember their names because I said, I didn't watch the show too often. But there was one that had like a shaved head, and it was like he had cancer, and she was
Caillou?
trying to. No. So in this show, there was there was a character who had a shaved head. I think his name was Tommy. And
Tommy was the orange head.
No, I
redhead.
don't know. But one of them, he didn't have hair, and I think it was like the part of the theory was that he had cancer and he was dying.
Wait, I think it was Tommy. Wait,
I don't know.
Rugrats characters. I feel like
Yeah, that also explains why she's like the oldest one in the show. Like she's trying to like boss these kids around because they're not actually real, and she wants to like play games with these
Never mind,
kids.
it's Chucky. Chucky was the redhead.
Yeah.
Tommy was the bald one. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tommy in the show is either alive and he has cancer, so he's dying, or he had already died of cancer, and this was like the last thing that she remembers of him.
What about Grandpa Lou, the grandfather, the one with
Wasn't he,
I
like,
know he's
crazy?
he's also always like sleeping or something around those lines. Yeah, but he was really crazy. I remember
Maybe
that
like
as well.
an alcoholic or something. I don't know.
Grandfather. Yeah. There's that, and what else was there from other characters? The twins. There's something about the twins also.
There was something about the twins. Once again, I don't remember enough of the show
Let me say Rugrats,
to talk about it.
Theory. Okay. Yeah, I mean that one was the first one I ever like researched. Like when I was younger, when I heard it, I was like, my whole childhood is ruined. It was so bad. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, but is there anything else you have written for Regrets?
No, that was it.
All grown up spin-off and Angelica dying of a drug overdose. What? Okay, I'm just like reading little snippets. I'm like, okay, this is
I do remember
crazy.
All Grown Up because, it was like the continuation, and I probably watched that a little bit more often than I watched Rugrats because I was a little bit younger. I kind of grew up with them.
The theory that all the... where's the twins? Oh my god, I just read the word twins. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean... so I think one of them, the reason that all the babies are dead, which is why the dad is always nervous. Let me look. Twins. Command Find is like probably the best one. Okay, there is. The Devils had an abortion in 1990. Angelica couldn't figure whether it was a boy or a girl. The creating of the twins. That was it. That was
There
it.
was like a whole theory. There's like in-depth analysis of this one.
And Angelica wasn't sure if it was a girl or boy. The baby that had an abortion back in 1990, which is why they were twins. Okay, now I know what it was. I had a feeling it was... I remember reading it one time, but it was... Yeah, that was freaky. It is freaky, though. and the one was Tommy. Chucky, there was something about Chucky or no? Here, let me see.
Probably.
Let me read about Chucky. Okay, you can go to the next one while I'm
Okay, well, this next theory is more, I never watched this show growing up, but I know that you did, was that Pokemon.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I just read it. Okay, so it has to do with the dad being nervous. So it's Chucky died in 1986 along with his mother. That's why Chaz is a nervous wreck all the time.
Makes sense.
And Tommy was born in 1988, but he was stillborn. That's why Stu is constantly in the basement making toys for the son who never had a chance to live. Oh my god, that's so sad. As for
kid shows are low-key dark.
Okay, so it says as for All Grown Up, I guess what do you say, sequel?
Yeah,
so
it was
called,
like a continuation.
Yeah, the teenage Angelica became addicted to various narcotics, which further aggravated her schizophrenia, bringing her back to her childhood and thus her creations she obsessed over because the time lapse between the present and the last time she interacted with her creations and she made them older.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, that's a Rugrats. That's a
pretty legit.
Look it up. It's so cool. It's really interesting. It'll ruin your childhood. Okay, sorry. What was the next one?
The next one was that in the show Pokemon, Ash dreams everything. It's all that he's in a coma, and it's just kind of like what he thinks.
Which makes sense because that kid never grows up. Like, let's be honest. I
think I asked you last night, like, do the other characters grow up?
No, none of them grow up.
So then it makes sense. It could be like he's in a coma, and it's like this was the last time he was awake. Was when he was at this age, and so when he like slips into the coma, it's like all he sees is this time, and there's like no change in the time period.
No, it makes sense because I think in the first episode he gets electrocuted by a Pikachu, so like
it could
that
be the slip, yeah.
Because like again, that kid never grows up. Ash Ketchum never grows up. That doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, it's pretty dark, and I think there's other things like Pokemon's being used to fight each other, and like it's this whole really dark thing. Which honestly, I kind of like the game, so I'm just like I'll just stick with the game. Like I know that's bad, but like it's a game. Yeah. So yeah.
So I don't know if you ever watched the show Hey Arnold, but there's a whole theory that Helga's mother is an alcoholic, and that the true narrator or the true like main character, the protagonist in the show is Helga, because it's like a lot of it is told from her perspective, and it's like she goes through the most changes in the show. Like she's the most dynamic character. Mm-hmm. And there's actually a lot of like evidence that backs this up, because if you look it up, like the mother's name, I think her name was like Miriam. She's always like moping around the house. Like she clearly favors one daughter over the other, and it's not Helga, it's Olga, which is like the older sister. She's always seen making these like smoothies in her blender, and she refers to them as smoothies, but she like you could literally see her like taking different bottles and like putting them in the blender and like she's always drinking something. And like her father always used to like say like, oh yeah, she's always just like sleeping around, she doesn't care about anything. And so that explains why Helga is the way she is. Like, she doesn't really have much support from her parents. So.
That is true. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. There's a picture of her sleeping on the table.
Yeah,
and I've seen that. She's drinking a lot. Wow, there's every
she makes these things called smoothies. Like, she refers to them as smoothies.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Whoa. See, the things that I watched Hey Arnold, but like I don't remember the mom. So maybe I watched
because she wasn't really present in the show.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a good enough one, honestly. I mean, is there one about like their interaction with her and Arnold, or?
I think, like I said, it was something along the lines of like Helga being like the actual main character in the show, because like she tells more of the story.
That is true. I mean, yeah. Hey, football head.
Move a football head.
Okay. What was the next one?
The next one is the Flintstones and the Jetsons were both actually set in the future.
That one I've heard.
So I've actually kind of thought of this theory on my own, because like I did read about it, but I was like, oh, maybe it's more along the lines of there was like some kind of nuclear war. And so what happened is the Jetsons doesn't necessarily come first, but it's first where the Jetsons go out into space and they have to like live in space because the Earth is uninhabitable. And then I was thinking, well, what about the Flintstones? And I was thinking, what if they had to like repopulate on the Earth, because it was starting to like, the vegetation was starting to come back. Mm-hmm. And so it was like there were people starting to come back to Earth, but they had to live like cavemen, because they are aware of like modern technology. Like they have a lot of things that like back then they didn't have. So it could be that those shows are happening simultaneously. and that they're actually in the future. And I thought that was a really cool theory because it's like, it makes sense that they both are happening at the same time. They just have different things. And both of those shows came out at the same time, I think, or like they were both released around the same time on like Boomerang or Cartoon Network or something. So
yeah, I'm looking at some more Hey Arnold, what's it called? Like theories. It said Phil and Gertie are his real parents, like Hey Arnold's real. The theory says that Arnold's grandparents, Phil and Gertie, are his real parents, and because they had him at an old age, Arnold was born with a few health conditions like hydrocephalus, hence the shape of the head. And the theory went as far as to say that his name came from a form of hydrocephalus known as Arnold-Chiari syndrome. Which is like, whoa. As a result, Arnold was bullied and had no friends, so all the characters in the series are a product of his imagination.
There's so many theories like that where it's like the main character imagines everything because of the problems and the traumas that they suffer.
Oh my god.
It's kind of sad.
Wow. The theory points out that the rest of the characters have an oddly shaped heads, and that Arnold imagined them as such so he could feel normal.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Sad.
The story supports itself by the fact that the location of Arnold's parents was a mystery, and the Grandpa Phil always came up with different tales about them.
I do remember seeing like parts where it would be like the grandfather was talking about his dad.
Dear God. Yeah. Came up with the concept of Arnold after meeting the child of two elderly adults who was mentally unstable. Wow, okay. That's so interesting. That is actually, it makes sense. I was like, why do they all have so, like, I thought it was just a cartoon, but wow, okay. Dang, okay. Well, also about the Flintstones and the Jessica and like, I've only watched the Flintstones, so I never...
Really? I watched more of the Jetsons than the Flintstones, but I have seen both.
Okay. Yeah, I know what the Jetsons looks like. Like, I've seen the intro
Meet George
music,
Jetson.
but yeah, I know the song as well, but like I've never watched it. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I don't know. I guess that was the only one that I'm like,
yeah. I think it just needs more evidence.
Yeah.
We need to like look into it a little bit more.
Yes.
Do you want to move on to like world theories / like our
Is
own
that all for the
personal
cartoons,
theories?
right?
Yeah.
Because I know there's, what was the one with, oh my god, I can't think of it now. The pink dog.
Oh, Courage the I do have that written down, but I don't know. Okay, so the Courage the Cowardly Dog theory. I am a strong believer in this one because I watched this show like religiously at the age of 10.
When I was younger as well.
Literally watched every single episode, every single day when I came home from school. I watched it, and the theory basically states that we're watching the show from the dog's perspective, and that everything in the show is overly dramatized. In that the dog is just so nervous and so anxious because he's like, he's cowardly, that he imagines everything to be like terrifying because he's a dog. He's like a small little timid dog. He doesn't know what's like real and what's not. So all the things that happen in the show with the monsters and the crazy animals and the abductions and the aliens and all that and the creepy mayors and all the creepy people in his house or in his world, they're all just overly dramatized, and that in reality there's nothing wrong, nothing is happening, there's no problems, but Courage is just so scared for his family and for himself that he imagines all these things to be like evil villains, and they're like malicious and they're out to kill his like owners. And I don't remember specific evidence from this, but I do remember when I used to watch this show and I was aware of this theory, it made so much sense to me. Like there was the one episode with like the fox salesman, and I think it was just kind of like a salesman was coming to their house, but he saw him as like a fox because he's like very sly and he's trying to convince them of things like that aren't necessarily like good. And so
I definitely watched it, and it makes sense. It really does make sense. Actually,
like when they went to the hospital, that one episode for like the mother or like Courage's owner, he sees it as like she's getting tortured and they're trying to kill her, when in reality they're just helping her. It's just like doctors.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But he over dramatizes everything, and we see it from his eyes.
And also there was Phineas and Ferb. There has to be like also a theory. I know there was one.
There was that whole theory that like Dr. Doofenshmirtz is actually Phineas's dad, and it like makes a lot of sense.
I heard about that one. Yeah,
because they both have like the triangle heads or something.
That would make sense. That would actually make sense. That has to be also a theory on why they never get caught, but yeah. I
feel like there was also a theory that Candace like imagines everything because, another one of those like, oh yeah, she imagines everything because they died. And that's why she's like so obsessed with like busting her brothers, because she wants her mom to see them even though they're dead.
Or maybe they're ghosts.
Yeah, or like she wants to have these two creative brothers who make all these like crazy things, and she wants, like I said, she wants her parents to recognize that they're still alive when in reality she's just crazy and she just imagines everything.
I mean, she's a teenager. She might be taking some random things.
Yeah, that's why. That's why she, like, her parents never believe her, that like they think she's just seeing things.
That is true. Okay. Well, that's cartoons. I'm sorry if we ruined your childhood. So, real life. Just get yourself prepared, because these are theories, by the way. So it's not real, it's not confirmed, but it's things that we made up, or we've heard
popular
someone made
theories.
up. And yeah, just in case you weren't thinking about it, now you are. So what do we have?
I think we should start with probably one of the most like accepted, talked about theories in the world, the Mandela effect.
I love this one. The
Mandela effect, I think, is true. I genuinely believe
think it's true,
because there's so many people that accept it, or accept like that we have like similar ideas that aren't like, you know, they don't exist anymore.
It's freaky. It's
and
so
it's
freaky.
scary. And I feel like there's a couple that I don't have listed here because they're things that I might just think about on my own, of things that I've noticed that I'm like, this is not how it used to be, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's the Mandela
I'm gonna look
effect.
up ones I know right now and test you.
I can think of a couple on the spot. There's the J.C. Penney one, and that J.C. Penney, like penny is spelled, it's not spelled like the word penny, like Penny. It's actually spelled Penney.
No!
And I've noticed that now. Whenever I go to the mall, I always see it as like penny with like an E.
No, I literally, as soon as you said J.C. Penney, I was like, it's Penny.
No.
No! Oh
and
my god.
It freaks me out because I used to believe it was penny, just like a regular, you know, like penny, but it's not. Another one that's like very widely accepted, or another one that like a lot of people have recognized, is the Sex in the City one, like the show.
Yeah.
Is not Sex in the City, it's Sex and the City. And I was like, everyone knows it to be Sex in the City. So, I don't know, man.
I thought it was in. That's so freaky.
Yeah.
Okay, there's also Chick-fil-A. How do you spell Chick-fil-A?
Chicfila.
That's right. Okay.
Okay.
Not chick like it's
There's
CK.
no K at the end.
Yeah, and there's also Kit Kat. Is there a dash in between or no?
I thought that there was.
Apparently there's not.
Really? Okay. I'm not shocked by that one.
Let me see. Oh, you know the peanut butter company?
The Jiffy one? I saw this. Yeah, I was looking at this.
I thought it was Jiffy.
I thought it was Jif.
No, I thought it was Jiffy. And
For the longest time, I thought it was Jif, and then people were like, it's Jiffy. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh my god. And also Cheez-Its. Is it it's or it?
Cheez-It. Well, like, I guess it makes sense to say, like, I want some Cheez-Its, but you're basically just adding the S at the end, but I don't know. I don't really eat Cheez-Its.
Also, Cocoa Puffs. Is there an A or no A?
There is an A. Okay, that one I know because it's like design-wise.
And Fruit Loops. Is it Fruit Loops?
Oh my god, for the longest time I thought it was like, you know, fruit, like Fruit.
Yeah.
But then what, you know, when you look at the box, it's Froot, and I'm like, that's not right.
And also Monopoly. Did he have an eyepiece or no?
Like a monocle?
Yeah.
I didn't think that he did.
Well, he doesn't, and I thought he did.
Okay, I'm not that whack.
I thought he did, and I was gonna go.
What kind of universe am I living in? Okay, I know that there's one. This isn't too much of a Mandela effect, but this is something that I learned last year. Mm-hmm. Our world map, or like the widely accepted world map from like years ago, is actually Eurocentric, where like the Europeans created it, so they make it look like so much different than it actually is. Like in the map, it shows you that like the country of Greenland is like basically the size of Africa, and that is not true at all. Africa is like 3 times the size of Greenland.
Wow.
And then there was another one. It was like Mexico is like really small in comparison to Canada, but they're actually like not similar in size, but they're like bigger. I think it was like Mexico is a lot bigger than it is like portrayed on the map. Something like that. There was this whole thing about the map and how it has just been so incorrect for years.
What about Curious George? Does he have a tail or not?
I don't know. I think he doesn't.
Yeah, I think he doesn't, yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Wow, you're smart. Yeah, there's also Looney Tunes.
I was looking at this website yesterday.
Looney Tunes?
I don't know. I really have no idea.
Is it Looney Toons or Looney Tunes Tunes?
I think it's the 00 one.
It's
Double
TUNES.
what?
I thought it was TOO.
That's just because it's like loony. You think it's like the Fruit Loops one where it should be like 0000, but I guess they were like, let's be inconsistent.
Oh my god, I hate it. And
So
also
weird.
the one that was really popular was Bernstein.
The Bernstein. Okay, that's the thing. It's like it's written in cursive, and I never looked at it enough to like know. But I mean, it broke someone's heart somewhere.
I think there's also I never watched it either, but there's also one what's it called? The Pikachu. I mean, you don't play Pokemon, but Pikachu.
it was like the black line on his.
I thought he had a black tail.
I don't think he. I don't know if
he doesn't.
Okay, I don't know.
I thought he did, and I'm like so mad. What else is there?
It's just
I'm like
earth
looking.
shattering.
It is so annoying. There's also, let me see, Mandela effect. There's one for Ford. I need to see into it because I don't.
Like
Ford.
the cars?
Yeah, I'm like looking. Okay, no, this is easy. Coca-Cola. I'm trying to find another Mandela effect. What was another one? I feel like I know, but then I don't. There was also Mickey Mouse, if he had a tail or not. No, wait, no, not that. Oh, overalls or not. No, he did. He didn't have overalls. No, he didn't. Like the line. No, that one I knew. How did the Mandela effect start? Like the whole thing about it. Wasn't it about like Mandela? People said that he was in jail
Nelson
for
Mandela.
like
Nelson Mandela, or yeah, something along that. He's the president, or he was the president of South Africa. Mm-hmm. And everyone believed that he died in like 1980s, I think. I don't know exactly what year, but everyone, like, it was like all across the world, people thought he died. And there was no news story that said he did. It was like completely like it was not in the media anywhere that he did die, but everyone had accepted that he was dead. And then in 2013, he actually did die. And people were like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, I thought he died years ago. And so that was when this whole thing started, that like there are small changes in our universe, and there's like we live in like there's like a parallel universe that actually has what we accept. And like there are just like little things that like keep changing that we don't notice until we do. Like the JCPenney thing. Like nobody thought that there was an extra E before the Y, but there is.
There's also Febreze.
Oh yeah, the Febreze, like there's no E at the end. Oh, like double stuffed Oreo, there's only one F in the word stuff.
I hate these. They're so...
It's mind-blowing.
It hurts my head. Also, there's Target. That one you definitely need to like look it up because it's hard to explain. But like...
Oh yeah, it's like how many lines.
Yeah.
I think it's the first one.
Yeah, I think it was the first one too. Yeah, it's definitely the first one. Oh my god, but the Febreze one's the one that freaked me out the most.
It doesn't make sense though. Why isn't there an E?
Febreze. Let me look it up so I can freak out myself. Febreze. I probably spelled it wrong because of it. Yeah, okay, so the Febreze one, usually people would say, oh, it's spelled like Fabreeze because breeze is two E's, but it's spelled with one E.
I was more shocked that there wasn't an E at the end. I thought that there was.
There is.
There is?
Yeah, there is.
What? See, this is me. I thought that there wasn't an E at the end, and that was the whole Mandela effect. Are you kidding me?
New Mandela effect. Who remembers Febreze spelled with two E's? Apparently, it's only spelled with one E. Yeah, there is an E at the end. It's just that the one E or two E's.
I'm already like shook.
I know. I'm like, okay, let's move on. I can't. My head hurts.
So this one, I love this theory. This is something that I personally have come up with because I've looked into it a lot. Deja vu. What is deja vu? How do we have deja vus?
Let me tell you right now. My Spanish teacher told us deja vu. The more you have deja vus, that means like your health is not good.
I have a lot of deja vu.
Which means your health is not good.
I know. I have
He's like, that's not healthy at all. Like,
yeah,
that's really
it's
bad.
not, like, it's not okay. But, like, I have so many deja vus in my life.
I think,
I think it occurs way too frequently.
One thing we agreed on is the fact that, like, maybe deja vus are something that happen in your dreams.
So, okay. I did some research on this a while ago, so it might not be 100% correct. But there was a video that I watched that was talking about the different theories as to what causes deja vu, like actually like in your brain. Mm-hmm. And I think the one that I just accepted was that you have a deja vu when, like, let's say you walk into like this radio show room, mm-hmm. and you just stare at one thing. Like, I'm looking at my phone right now, it's on the counter, and I'm not looking at anything else. Like, I'm just looking at my phone and I'm just focusing in on it. And then you look up and you see basically everything else, but you know that from your peripheral vision, even though you're looking at your phone, you can still see everything else. You're just not focused on it.
Yeah.
So then when you look up, you start seeing everything and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. And it's like, yeah, of course you have. You just didn't notice it. So that was my theory that I had accepted, that like if you walked into like your kitchen and you only look at one fork, and you don't look at anything else, and then you look up, you see everything else that you've already seen because of your vision, like you've already like looked at it, you just haven't like focused on it. So that was what I accepted until this year when I started having like this really weird thing where whenever I had a deja vu, I felt like I seen it before, but it was really specific to dreams. Like I felt like I had seen it before in a dream, and I could even connect it to like a specific dream that I had.
That's crazy.
And it's really creepy because it's like, to this day, whenever I have a deja vu, the first thing I think of is I've seen this before in a dream. Like I've slept and I saw this and I was being shown the future.
There's times where you had a dream and as soon as you wake up, you forget it completely. So
exactly.
Like,
that's another thing, is that like, is your mind or body, like whenever you have a deja vu, is it trying to tell you to be aware of something that like you've already seen before? Like, was there some kind of thing you look so shocked right now? Was
I'm
it
like thinking about like, did I have a
I always
dream?
used to think that like there's a dream that you'll have and it shows you something in the future, even if it's something like really small, and then when you wake up you forget about it, and then like, you know, a while later you have this deja vu where you're like, I've seen this before, and it's basically your mind trying to tell you to like be aware of something, like there's something that you need to see, whether it's like harmful or
That's
if it's just
freaky.
like important. So that's my deja vu theory.
Okay, I do want, since we're short on time, I do want to mention some of the theories I made up.
Yes, go ahead.
Because you were curious about them, and I refused to tell you it until we came here. The first one is lanternflies. And I'm going to tell a story that has to do with my theory. So I went to one time fill up my gas for my car, and I look down and I see a lanternfly on my car.
I hate lanternflies.
And of course, I think a lot of you guys can relate to this because I started shooing it away. It wouldn't move. And I was like, why isn't it moving? It can see me shooing it. And then I got my wallet and smacked it out of my car, right? It falls on the floor and it continues to walk. So as it's walking, there's like a, like, you know, of course, the gas station, like the gas thing, you know, the one that you take, whatever, yeah. So that whole like structure, right? It like it's walking towards it and it bumps into it. And then it uses its right arm to make its way around it. So my theory is that lanternflies are blind, because
I mean, I think there's scientific evidence about that. I'm not
because
so
like
sure.
it makes sense, because like lanternflies, if they're blind, then if you're shooting them, it doesn't work, and like they're stupid, okay? Like they're really stupid. Like literally, you're like about to run up to it. Like often flies would just fly away immediately when they see you running up to it, but lanternflies don't do that. So it makes sense to me that lanternflies are blind. And by the way, I talked to Matthew Porter about this. Matthew Porter is the host of Kiss Room. I talked to him about this, and he was like, yeah, did you know that like lanternflies only have front vision, not left or right, which is why you might think they're blind, because they can't see you if you're shooting them from behind or from the side. They can't see you.
Interesting.
So they only see front.
That's so cool.
So now my theory is
I hate
crushed.
lanternflies.
I mean, right now I feel like they're getting less, so that's good. My second theory was, what's it called? What was it?
The American Idol?
Yes.
You need to talk about this, because
you're,
I
this
want to
one
hear
you were-
your
you were
rationale.
you were actually
because
very curious
I have
about
an
this one.
American Idol theory, but you said it's something different.
Very different. I believe, so sometimes, there are times when I'm watching American Idol or American's Got Talent, I see people singing, and I don't know what they're singing. Like the song they're singing, I have no idea what they're singing. I'm like, I've never heard that
It
song
might
in my
just be
entire
a song
life.
that you don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know that song. So I was thinking about it. I was like, what if artists who are, number one, not relevant anymore, or number two, are trying to be bigger than what they are, and so they pay American Idol, American's Got Talent to make the sing, because I know for a fact, I've heard of this theory before, that American Idol or Talent, they give the contestants a song to sing instead of the contestants choosing what
I'm
they
not
sing.
surprised by that, because
So
it's
they're
like
like-
they think that they know what's better for them,
Yeah.
like what they should sing.
I think that the singers pay the company to give the contestants their song, so that they're like, oh, I like this song that the person's saying. Let me look it up. So they look it up, they see the artist, and that's how they're promoting their artist.
That's actually such a good theory. I didn't think
I
of that.
thought of that. I was like,
Makes
yo,
sense.
this makes sense.
There was something that came out a couple years ago that, like, I don't know if this theory is true or not, but that American Idol was entirely fake, in the sense that the judges don't actually do anything, and that it's all the producers. Like, if you like look at the things that they do, they like look over to the camera, or like they look off camera to where the producers are standing, and like they have like different cues and like things that they do with their hands and like signals, because the judges actually have no idea whether or not like a person is a good singer or not.
Yeah.
And it's all just like they have to rely on the
That
people
would make
who
sense,
make
honestly.
those shows.
Yeah, that would make sense. Also, I had another theory. It's just in general. It's just I think in singers in general. Okay, you know who Sia is, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have those moments when you're listening to her songs and you don't know what she's saying?
Yeah.
Like, for example, there's one song, Elastic Heart, when she was like, and I won't stay up till the night. Yeah, every time I hear that part, she was like, so I don't know what she's saying. So I think singers purposely sing parts that you can't understand the lyrics, so it makes you look up the song lyrics. So that's like them promoting their song.
Yeah, promoting their song.
So there's that theory. Also, I have an Area 51 theory. And I think Area 51 is a distraction made by the government that helps keep people from noticing all the mistakes the government is doing to the country.
Area 52, am I right?
Area 52 weeks
Area
in a year.
Area 51 is actually like...
Area 52 weeks in a year. Yeah. So that's my theory. I think it's a distraction.
That's a good theory.
I
feel like it could be distraction from where they really keep the aliens.
I mean, I don't know where the alien thing came up. Actually, that's all my theories that I came up with when I'm driving in the car. Like, I literally think of these.
Where are the aliens?
Where are all the aliens? Let's see what's time. Oh, yeah, we have some time for other real-life ones. So what do you have?
So, this isn't too much of a theory, but it's just something, I remember last year in my history class, my teacher, like, literally spent an entire class period talking about, like, things that we never think about, but, like, when you start thinking about them, they could, like, literally change your life. Mm-hmm. But, the idea of cloning, and cloning is one of them, and then the next one was dreams, but, cloning is like the scariest thing in the world to me. I think that we should never do it.
I learned it in freshman year in science class.
For me, in my opinion, I think it's not an ethical practice. But we started talking along the lines of like, where is it that we draw the line in cloning? Because we've already cloned animals, we've already cloned foods, and we do have the technology to clone people.
Sometimes the cloning makes mistakes. I literally have seen clone mistakes. It's gross.
But is it humane? Is it ethical? Is it civil to clone? Because like if you think about it, like do clones have souls? Are they humans? They like? Do they have personality?
Area 51? Dude,
that's what happens. Area 51 is not aliens. It's cloning. I'm
gonna write a book about these.
But it's so scary to think about because, like, you know, like how do we have our souls? It's, you know, given to us by our parents. I don't know the true theory, but like.
When the mommy and daddy love each other so.
And then another thing was GMOs, and this kind of goes along with cloning. We also do have the technology, like we are beyond the technology to create the perfect child. Like if a parent, like if a mother and father or whatever, you know, two parents want to have a child, they literally do have the technology to genetically engineer their child to the perfect way that they want it. They could pick their hair color, they could pick their eye color, they could pick...
It's like The Sims.
Yeah, it's literally like The Sims. They could pick their body structure, they could pick their interests, they could pick if they're like soccer or football or if they're artistic.
Chills. That's disgusting.
And we do have this technology to engineer human beings, but like I said, is it ethical?
The government is hiding the amount of power they have.
Should we literally make children in laboratories? Like, is it okay to like pick their traits and their likes and dislikes?
Adam and Eve type of thing. Like, we don't.
That's the thing. There are people already use technology to like choose when they have their child. Like, I remember one of my friends was telling me that like one of her like not parents but one of her like family members literally like picked a day to have her child, and like she literally like took medicine or something so that she could have it on like a specific day.
That's oh god.
And it's so scary to think about that.
Wait, what about that child who was born on 2012 12/12?
Yeah, that was
12 minutes.
I mean, I don't know if that was a
that
mere
happened in
accident.
Dubai. I know that happened in Dubai.
Or if it was like, you know, engineered, like there's like technology for it, which it's terrifying to me.
That's
that
so
like
scary.
We could literally engineer a child in a laboratory.
Oh my god, that's freaky.
Or clone a child.
I'm happy to stick with the original,
the natural method,
the natural and actually human.
The natural method, yeah, but it's. Like I said, we do have the technology. It's just we're sitting and we're playing the waiting game. We're playing the like, should we do it? Is it right? Is it not right? Like, should we try it out? Should we? Because we could make like super soldiers. We could make humans so much more enhanced. We could make sure that every single child that is born in 2020 has perfect vision. But should we do that? Is it right? Is it normal?
Glasses companies are gonna go downhill after that.
No, but like it's just like. We have the technology to do it. So should we do it? Also, it's like, who gets to do this? Like, who has the privilege? Because let's be honest, it's probably not going to be cheap. If someone wants to genetically engineer their child, it's going to be like millions of dollars. So it's like, why is it that there are these like wealthy people who get to engineer their child to the way they want so they could have perfect children, and there are other people who don't have the money to get this done.
Dear God. Okay.
It's really terrifying.
It hurts my head. Okay, well, I think we're running out of time, but thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'm sorry for anybody if we triggered you by these
I'm
really
triggered,
scary
but that's
theories.
okay. I'm always
before
triggered.
we head out, I do want to point something out. If you guys haven't heard, on YouTube, they're doing this really good campaign where they're pretty much planting a tree from every dollar
Team
you
Trees.
donate.
Hashtag Team Trees.
Trees. It's teamtrees.org. Go on there, donate $1. If you donate $1, they plant a tree. Donate $2, you plant 2 trees. So they're trying to reach 20 million trees.
I'm pretty sure Elon Musk just like literally donated $1 million,
which is so good.
Good for him. I mean,
And
there's a lot of things about
Also, they're trying
Elon.
to compete because there's like a top leaderboard thing, and they're trying to compete to the first leaderboard, which Elon Musk is like number 1. But no, literally, like it's so easy to do.
It's a
If
great
you don't feel like
organization.
going out and planting a tree, just donate $1. It's easy as that. They're trying to reach 20 million trees by the end of 2020. And right now, let me look at the website.
I think they're at like 2 or 3 million.
They have 12,915,614.
That's insane. I didn't think it was that high.
Literally within like not even a month, like way less than that.
It's been like
I
a
think
week.
If we get everybody to participate, I think it would make a huge difference. It won't solve the world's problems, but it makes
It'll
a huge
make
difference.
a huge impact.
20 million's a
There
lot.
is a video on like what this will actually do to plant 20 million trees, and it is.
And shout out
insane.
to Mr. Beast, and I think, oh my god, I feel
There's a
I feel
bunch of YouTubers
I
who
feel,
have jumped
this is not
on it.
I'm not being biased. Like I only watch Mr. Beast. There's this other guy who also is helping. Let me see.
I know that the
Official.
Try Guys are in on it.
Yes, there's a lot of YouTubers getting involved in it, and I think everyone should get involved with it. There's also merch you guys can buy that could help out. Yes, Team Trees helps the environment at least a lot, and trust me, it's a lot of trees. So just donate $1, you plant 1 tree. So go to teamtrees.org. It helps a lot. And again, Bayanne, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank
I really
you for
appreciate you
having me.
coming on.
I love coming on.
Yeah, so think about some theories. What do you have something to tell people before we shut off? The government is lying to you. That's what I would say.
Just be more aware of the things in your life. Pay attention
To the cartoons that you're watching.
Yeah, pay attention to the cartoons.
Cartoons you're watching. Tina
Pay attention to the
Turner
weird things
is
in your life
sad.
that you think are just like coincidences, because they might not
Kill
be.
lanternflies whenever you see them.
Please
We're trying to
do.
get rid of
Please
them.
do. Go out, take a credit card, and scrape their eggs off trees.
Yeah, that. Do that. That's pretty graphic, actually. Okay.
Yeah,
well, thank you guys so much for coming.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for listening. And
Yeah.
thank you, Bayanne, for coming.
Thank you.
And I will see you guys next week on 11 a.m. on My Mind of the Working. Bye.
Bye.